Oh yeah, this is a good morning. Welcome to our
Woohoo!
summer shift show, where all the shifting
We
happens.
didn't wear our bikinis.
Oh, Alberta.
We saved everybody the distraction.
Although this is our explicit show, so we
It
could have
is. It's
technically
unfiltered. Yeah, we could have gone for it for sure. We did shift it up
done all
though.
the things. We did shift it up, so that was all on purpose. We did it because we need
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Well, actually, no. I sent Carrie a message last Wednesday. We were supposed to go live at 4. And I said, I'm going to have to do this from the car or from urgent care or something, but I can go sit in the car. But we had a sick kid, really high
Yeah.
fever and all that, super sore throat and some shortness of breath and like some stuff. And her dad had just been through pneumonia. So we were just like, oh my God, we're going back to urgent care. And we haven't been there in, I don't, I, I don't know if I've ever been to one since I've lived in Alberta. And
Crazy.
so here we were, and Carrie's like, woman, don't worry about the show. We can shift, we can move the show, and, just worry about the kiddo and whatever. So that's all good. And we were back again the next day because it was, you know, still scary, still not great. So
Yeah.
everybody's good now. Everybody's healthy. We shifted with that. And we're like, this is part of what we are talking about is these shifts that can be expected or unexpected. And how can we shift with those and just, and flow with it. So here we are
Yeah.
setting that example. And then as well, of course, as you all know, also want to talk about the shifts that we want to create in our world. So how can we make, shift things for the better for people? And that's what Carrie did for me in that situation as well. She just went, look, yes, hearts and love and thank you. And just a
Yeah.
reminder that, you know what, some things are just a bigger priority, and it's okay to shift. It's okay to say, I can't do it all. I can't
Yeah.
just, you know,
Yeah.
stretch myself, stretch my family, stretch my energy, my time.
Mhm.
That's okay. So to make those shifts, and I think that's something that's really big about our summertime is there is so much we have to shift in our headspace, especially if you're a parent with kids still at home at
Oh
whatever
yeah.
age, because you want to support them in a summer job that they're doing and give them that, not only that independence, but also uh, just step back and say, I remember having my shitty first job or whatever it is. This is just part of their growth, part of their experience. um, and just adjust, and maybe they're going to have to learn how to entertain themselves a little bit, or how, yeah, there's just so many things about summer, even in our own head, to go, it's
Mhm.
okay to just take that time. We'll get into some of the examples of that as
Oh
we
yeah.
as we go, but we want to thank
Yeah.
everybody, but me primarily, I wanted to thank Carrie for helping us just flow with that and
Oh
shift.
yeah. You're absolutely welcome because I know, eh, just like you said, sometimes we have just unexpected things that pop up, and it's like, what is the priority at that moment? Even though, we do take our shows very seriously. Yeah, it doesn't look like it right now, but we do.
We take our commitment to
This
our
is
audience
we
seriously.
take it to a
Yes.
next level, as you can see. We like to have fun with it, but at the same time, there is a priority when it comes to our daily lives and workspace and family. So, with a balance of it, we have to take into account of, okay, what is important at that moment, and going, okay, like for me, I've had guests cancel last minute due to, whatever pops up, and that's on a Saturday night and we're doing it live on the radio, right? And sometimes I'm like, okay, I get mad in a way, but then I have to step back and go like, it's okay. like these things happen. We can't control our lives completely. Like there's only a certain amount we can do. And again, just things override and overrule. And at that moment, it's like family's first to me all the time. So if there's always an emergency or something happens, I'm like, you know what? No, like I don't care if we're live in 5 minutes or we're live now and something happens, like that's life. That's why it's live. That's why, you know, it's important to show those good examples to others and go, yeah, like sometimes we just can't possibly do it. And even if Dina did come on and she's sitting in a vehicle doing it live, although I would
Which we've
commend
done
her,
before.
we've done it before, uh, not under stressful circumstances though. So,
Yeah.
my biggest fear is, you're doing it live, you're not there. Your thoughts are going to be with your child at that moment. You're not even going to be, really invested into the show. But not just that, then you're also worried about, oh, will, somebody approach the vehicle like a doctor or whatever, going, okay, like we need you in here, or calling you or texting you, whatever the situation. And you're just not focused. You're not even there. So to me, it's like, you want to be with your child, go be with them. That's more important. And again, like we can shift it, we can move it. That's what life is about. That's why, again, like Dina said, that's why we do our shows, to show everyone shift happens, right? Shift
Yep.
it, move it, be flexible, do what you can do. And I was like, you know what? Even though it's a Monday morning, we're doing this, what kind of was cool was the fact that this is, and I just didn't even think about it, was this is the long weekend. And to me, I was like, I didn't even think like, oh, there probably won't be many people around. They'll be at work doing this. But here in Canada, this is our Canada Day long weekend. So tomorrow, happy Canada Day. And I was debating between wearing like Canada Day stuff
Mhm.
or our summer shifty stuff, because the show is called Summer Shifts. So I'm like, nah, summer's going to override Canada Day. Sorry. Plus, I love summer and all the things with it. As you can see, I go hard or go home. So there's that.
I
But
took
yes,
my show
Dina,
outside.
I appreciate you. And
Yeah.
we've been through circumstances. We've had to do our things, and I'm the same. Like there are days and I'm just exhausted, whatever. But I'm like, you know what? I'll come on, I do a show, and then after I'm like, oh, that was just so great. And I had so much fun. And and yeah, you just shift your mindset and like, let's go, let's have some fun and put everything else on hold that you can, other than like the emergency stuff. I get that. But sometimes when life beckons to do our things and we don't want to do them, sometimes we just have to suck it up, buttercup.
Or we just listen to that
Yeah.
and get curious. So I love always encouraging people to be curious. So
Yeah.
if there's something that you're thinking, do I don't really want to do that. Do I really want to do that? And you're questioning it, get curious as to
Hmm.
why.
Yeah.
Why does that not feel right or right now?
Yeah.
Um, what's that? Wait a minute, what's that feeling of I feel a little bit hesitant? And dig in and
Hmm.
get curious about it. And you're going to learn something about yourself. You might learn that you've been doing something out of habit, you don't really enjoy it. It's something that you think people expect of you, and really maybe they don't, or they're wishing you'd stop already.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, and maybe have some of those conversations. Say with your
Hmm.
family and say, you know what, every summer we plan some big vacation. This is an example.
Yeah.
Is that something you guys even want to do, or would you just like to chillax at home? Or
Hmm.
what are some other ideas? What are some things we could be doing, exploring in our neighborhoods? Or I know we talked about this a little bit last summer too, when we were talking
Yeah.
about summer activities and other options. And just, I think, get curious and not stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
Or how do you start your mornings now that it's summer? I I came out here in the yard where I'm sitting out here today. I'll give you guys a good.
Ta-da.
Yeah, ta-da! So we had a massive hailstorm and cloudburst Friday night, And this morning's the first morning I was brave enough to walk down to my garden and see if they'd had a couple days to pick their asses up off the ground after being just slammed with hail. It was, and things were pretty good, but I just, I just went barefoot out and walked around all around the yard and looked at all
Mhm.
my flowers in the garden and everything and just thought, why am I not doing this every morning I possibly can? This is what
Yeah.
I live for is summer.
Yeah.
And this is, it takes minutes, or I can take an hour if I want to, but just that shift in my head going, why do I, this is so wonderful. This is just relaxing. It's soothing. Not only the whole grounding thing, if you believe in
Yeah.
that, where you're,
Oh, yeah.
bare feet
On
on
the
the
actual
grass or,
ground. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
actual ground. But like what I get up and I get down in that rabbit hole of my emails and literally shift my office space, take myself
Yeah.
outside, pause and go for a walk around the yard or just, whatever. Um, I think it's really important to notice those little things that become a habit and or that you feel your energy go ugh, and then go, wait,
Mhm.
what was that?
Why? Yeah.
Is that something I should be switching?
Worried about or we're consistently doing on a regular basis, especially. So I get it. There are people that have like the 9 to 5 job and they're going back and forth every single day and they're doing, the grind. And sometimes they have to do it during summer because that is just their job. So,
Hmm.
but we, like Dina said, what can you do differently perhaps in the morning before you're going to work? For me, right now, I mean, I don't have a 9 to 5 job, but I've found like because I don't have a backyard. I just have a balcony. But in all my glory, I've made it like not just a balcony, but it's like the patio. So
Yeah,
I've got like a lounger out there and I've got like a love seat and I have like some cool little curtains up, made like a kind of cabana, fun little summer area so that it's really super inviting. And then what I do is in the morning when it's really nice out, I will grab a cup of coffee and I will go sit out there and if I have to do a couple emails or check something, then I'll just sit out there and do that. But I just kind of just stop and take a moment and just, have some gratitude for the day and grateful that it's beautiful and sunny outside and that I can sit there just for a few moments and just take it all in. And so if you can do that before a 9 to 5 kind of day, like the grind is going to start as soon as you leave your house. Why not take, a few seconds, walk around the yard or take in a coffee while you're sitting outside or take a walk around the block if you can, just take that moment for yourself and then go off, start your day, come back. If you don't have time in the morning, some people really can't. Sometimes
sorry, there's a
there's
walk.
just it's not possible. Yeah, like maybe they have to commute an hour as it is, right? So it's
Yeah.
like that extra 5 minutes to sit there and have a coffee is just not doable. I understand that. So look at when you get back home. What can you
Or
do
roll
in the
your window
evening?
down on the way to work. That's not something you can do in the winter. Like,
Sometimes if it's nice out in the wintertime and it's not too cold and it's just like, some people throwing shorts on in the wintertime.
yeah,
Me, I'm like, can I put the sunroof open? Is there snow on the top of my car?
yeah, exactly.
I'm doing it. I'm gonna do it.
You know,
But it's
another,
true. Wind your window down just a little bit, get some music going
yes,
and blare it.
get some
I love
air,
that. I've seen that in the wintertime.
listen
I
to the
pull up to
birds.
like an intersection. People are like, oops, 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 oops. And I'm like,
Yep,
yes, like, let's go.
I
Right?
love it.
Turn that snow into sand and get that beach feeling going. So, because sometimes we do, sometimes we need like that summer vibe even during in the winter time. So you can even shift that, right? Shift your seasons into whatever. If you're not a summertime person, some people don't like the heat. They don't
Yeah.
like they don't like the unscheduled stuff. They're like, "Oh, well, now my whole life is messed up because there
Hmm.
is no schedule, there's nothing and they don't, shift it around to make it that way. Go into that mode of, okay, schedule things in or, make it more serious, make it so that, you know, you can have it where it's doable for you, right? No one says you
Yeah.
have to sit back and relax in summer. I mean, you're crazy if you don't, but you know, that's just me, but I'm just saying. You
Well,
know,
even so just back up a little bit. When
yeah.
I tell people to pause when they notice something and it like a dip in your energy, what's really fascinating is sometimes you'll discover you've been doing something out of habit or routine and you kind of go, oh, I got to do that. But if you pause when you feel that feeling, that dip in your energy, the surprising thing you'll find sometimes is when you think about it and go, do I really need to do this? Do I even enjoy it? Do I want to do this? Is it something that fills my cup or whatever it might be?
Yeah.
You sometimes realize that, you know what, I do actually enjoy this. And you can shift your perspective on it and continue it, but with a new energy behind it, a new kind of like a refresh or a
Yeah.
reset. And it's like you don't eliminate it, you maybe don't change it, or you tweak it a little bit to, it's like, what part of this is causing that dip in the energy? And maybe I can
Mhm.
just shift that a little bit, like change up the creamer in your coffee or something. Like it's just
There's Bailey's.
um
Throw that in, kids, you're good.
sometimes, it's just it can
Start
sometimes
your day with a
help someone.
mimosa instead of a coffee.
There you go. Yeah.
Right? Oh, I should have done that. We should have mimosas sitting here. Some margaritas.
Yeah.
Morning
That would have
margaritas.
been good. That would have been good. I love
But
it.
it's true. I
It's
love that
actually,
thinking. Yeah. Yeah. We do need to kind of sit back and go, why? Why am I hesitant? Why am I, you know, what's preventing me from just not enjoying myself today? And I actually had on a lady on my show. Oh, it was a little while ago. Rochelle Carrington, she does like a bit of coaching. Like it's not just necessarily mindset, but it's like kind of unblocking things. And she said it's the same thing. There are times when, you know, it's actually just a subconscious thing, but it's actually not. Well, I guess it's not subconscious. Yeah, it is subconscious. So it's just something subconscious that's in you where you don't even realize, but it could be something from childhood trauma or just something, whatever.
mm,
But she said she coached even this business owner who is like multi-million dollar business, right? And they came into her and said, I don't know why or what is going on, but I just one day walked into my office and I just didn't want to be there anymore. Even though
yeah,
they loved their company, they loved everything around it, there was just something that was blocking it, right? So sometimes there is that subconscious stuff that is blocking you from that situation. But she said, you know, things like shifting things, you're shifting your mindset or doing something different will sometimes click it back in, going, oh, yeah, this is the reason why I love doing this or love doing that. So sometimes we have those not just subconscious blocks, but like you said, the monotonous going over and over again of like the routines, doing this, doing that. I had another lady on we did Life Wide Open. Barb, what's her last name? I can't remember. But so years ago, I did another mindset show and it was really fun. But she said, you know, it is that pattern of just even driving to work the same time, like the same way every single time. So if you switch up, just even driving to work differently, then it's,
yep.
you know, your brain patterns change as well. So it could
Mm-hmm.
even just be that. So in the summertime, knowing that, you know, because during the wintertime, roads are pretty crappy and you don't really want to be out there driving and taking a long route to work. But maybe in the summertime, look at it maybe once a week, driving a different route to work where you can enjoy having your windows down, throwing the radio on and just enjoying it or stopping for, you know, a Slurpee in the morning, whatever you want to do
Yep.
and make it a little, you know, vacation on the way to work. That may change that mindset, may change that slump going, oh yeah. And then maybe it's like, you know, maybe not a Friday, because usually like Fridays in the office is like the casual Fridays. So it's
Casual
kind of
day.
chill
Yeah.
anyway. Make it like a Tuesday or Wednesday or, so that you're looking for maybe a Tuesday, because then you're like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to Tuesday, going, oh yeah, Tuesday's like the switch up day and I get to, go to work differently, or pick up a friend on the way to work or whatever, bring the office some donuts or something and make it fun so that everyone's like, I mean, you don't have to expect it. You could switch it up Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, and just have some fun with it so that, yeah, your
Cool.
mindset's not going, oh, I have to go to work. I have to do that. And then because of summertime too, like we said last time we talked about summer was the staycations if you can't get out and do a vacation somewhere else. So why not make it a staycation for the weekends where you're visiting local venues and you're doing the things or the festivals that are going on. Go down to the river, go rafting on the weekend, go do some little fishing. There's a really cute place I just visited. I think it was last month, called the Sam Livingston Fish Hatchery here in Calgary. And they have this cute little pond. It's not in the hatchery itself, it's just on the ground. So you can go and you can practice fishing there. So if you don't know how to fish, you
Oh,
can just pop in there and you can just learn how to fish. And it's just catch and release. So that's a fun little practice thing you can do. And then
nice.
you can go into the wild and go do it on your own. Get ready to do the thing. So learn
That's
something
cool.
new. Learn something new this
Yeah,
summer too. That's what
I
I
love
like
that.
to
I
promote,
had to
that
move over in the shade.
in the shade. Sun's too much for you?
Yeah.
That's why I've got my
Well, it's too
sunscreen
much for
on.
my laptop. It's too much for my
Oh,
laptop. My laptop gets hot.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
we can't have that.
No, we
It
don't
will
want heat
fry.
stroke going on with your laptop. Let's talk some good shifts and some bad shifts. We'll kind of touched on some
Okay.
gooder stuff, but let's talk on some bad shifts in the summer now that we kind of touched on heat stroke. How can we prevent some of the bad stuff?
Got another co-host here. It's
Hey,
Maggie.
hi Doggo.
Hi, Maggie. Um,
Maggie.
okay. Tail wag. Puppy dog.
Bad shifts
Puppy
that you
dog.
have to take your animals with you on vacation
Yeah,
or
that
leave them
happens sometimes.
behind. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are some shifts we could be talking about here that, like, let's talk about parenting and co-parenting,
Yeah.
even,
That's tougher shifts.
like that's a summer shift too, right? Like you're trying to support your kids through um, boredom, juggling vacations between, parents and two different family households or stuff like that. Because that's a lot of considerations to make too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. That is a big shift because sometimes one parent can't get holidays off and the other parent can. So you have to really do some co-parenting in that moment and go, okay, well, even though I have all summer off and you don't, I can take them, but you have to discuss that and say, is this okay? Because it takes away from the other person's time. Or how can you swap that time out going, well, I can have them during the week, and if you still want them on the weekends, even though it's not really the pattern you're used to, what can work? Or maybe the both of you can chip in and send the kids to camp. That's another option as well. Then you're both going, okay, that's a fair trade-off where no one has the responsibility of having them full time, and then the kids can enjoy something outside the home instead. That's always another option. I know I went to
well,
camp. I loved it. And I didn't even want to come home.
there's also some other options that I've heard of as well. As sometimes there's university students that are looking for some summer work, or it's part of even like maybe they're training to be a teacher, for example, or
Mhm.
some work that they're doing that they would love to spend time with your kids, and they're going to have the energy and creativity, and it's not even like I don't want to call it babysitting. It's actually
Yeah.
it's mentoring in a lot of ways as
Mhm.
well, or coaching them, or just it's a collaborative space where they get to try their new their skills of communicating with kids,
Yeah.
and your kids get to benefit from that.
Yeah, that's true. There's also summer classes as well, the different facilities. It just kind of depends. Like you said, the university may have some programs, but even for children, they may
Yep.
have a type of reading program. Like the library will definitely have a summer reading program, whether it's online, but hopefully, in person as well. I would search around and see, what is your child's interest? Because sometimes it could be reading or they could be into, let's say, astronomy. So you search out the local places that offer programs and go, okay, where can I take them? And even if it's not like if this, sometimes it could be day camps or sometimes it could just be a drop in something. So maybe there is a student or someone in the neighborhood that would volunteer to take your child to that
Yep.
activity for you if you can't go. And then that creates a different kind of bond for those two as well. And then the other person's learning, like you said, it could be a student that has, maybe they are teaching, like they're, um, what's those internship, right? So they're like, okay,
Yeah.
you have to spend so many hours doing some volunteer work for their internship, and then that could be a part of it. And then you're helping them in return. So I absolutely love that. But get creative, get outside the box, going, what can we do? Or have your child try something completely different. Say they've got a sibling and the sibling loves reading, the other one doesn't. So then they swap for like a day, going, okay, I'll try your activity, but you have to try mine. And then you're
Yep.
swapping and trying different things. Because then you learn about not just that specific topic, but you're also learning about your sibling, right? Or your parents' stuff or something, right?
And another
Something fun.
cool thing about that shift, and I've talked
Yeah.
about this with some of my podcast guests, another thing with that shift is it gives each kid an opportunity to be the expert in whatever
Yes.
their interest is, but it
Yeah.
also then gains some, um, that other sibling gets to see them in their strength and see them uh, in a different role. Like, so the one
Mhm.
that's stronger is going to be teaching, coaching, encouraging, and demonstrating something
Yeah.
that they have a strength in. And I think that's, I mean, that's pretty cool to be
Yeah.
able to share that with siblings
Yeah.
and structure it that way. So that's a great idea, Carrie.
Especially
And
teenagers, right? Because we always hit on the teenagers going, they're always stuck in this, like, well, they're not quite an adult, they're not child, but
yep,
so that could be a perfect opportunity for them to be teaching other kids going, yeah, like and feel really confident and just have that power just for that time. Also, again, I'm just going to go back to camps because camps are great, but they do have, they may be full now, but leaders in training or counselors in training. So teenagers, that's a perfect opportunity to be able to hop into a leadership role without the complete, like put the whole burden on your shoulders. You're just helping an assistant counselor and going in and you get to help things but feel that power of like, oh yeah, I could actually do this. And it kind of goes on to more of a leadership role of like, do I want to be a counselor maybe next summer? And then that goes into more
right.
leadership roles, which can flow into a business opportunity sometimes. So yeah. Yeah. What do you think we
And I
got?
wanted to
No, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm happy you mentioned business because I wanted to talk about that too. There's two different camps on summertime and business and how to approach that. So some is
Mhm.
like, oh, just leave people, hey Maggie, just leave
Hey, Joe.
people to um, have just let them have their summer. Don't be talking to them about what sales
Mm,
opportunity, what opportunities you have available with your business or whatever that might be. And others are in the other camp saying, look, a lot of people are letting their foot up off the gas on their business and they're just coasting. Now's a great time. There's not as much noise. And so it's a great time
mhm.
to be able to talk to people about some options. Jeez, hold your butt there, dog. To talk to them about what can be done, right? So
Yeah.
it what opportunities you have for them, what ways you could collaborate or introducing yourself, whatever your business might be, is summer does offer you that opportunity because there's less noise. So
Yeah.
or you could do some of each. You could do for a while. You could take and be doing more outreach, and then
Yeah.
at other times you
All I hear is this.
yeah, or at other time, yeah. So that's my dog panting, not my husband. Um,
That's cute.
yeah, so it's kind of it's an interesting
Yeah.
perspective, and I
Yeah.
think finding a balance that feels right for you. So don't I've had mentors tell me different things, and I've paused and went, okay, yes, I've sought your mentorship because I respect your experience and your knowledge and your wisdom. But you
Hmm.
also then need to filter that through what you feel is the best fit for you. So I think
Yeah.
that applies to everything. But if we're talking
Yeah.
about business right now, uh,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Because definitely, like you said, the noise during the winter seasons, summer, sometimes you can step back a little bit and go, oh, okay, I can actually breathe a little bit. Like you said, some people are taking more holidays in the summertime and they're actually going and they're in a completely different space. So, they don't feel as stressed in the office, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm, like on the beach, and I can work from the beach and do the things, and they can enjoy their holiday. But those that are in the office with them, have that respect that, yeah, they're on a vacation, they're trying to take time away. And then like business hours, that's it. Like, don't bother me past that time, and have that respect for each other's, because that's your time away, and then they come back and they're more refreshed from holidays. And so I think
yeah,
that's totally important to be able to go that respect that space. Like you said, it's super important on that end. And go, hey, how can we help each other as well? Like if you're away from the office, is there something I can do while you're away? And then vice versa, right? When the other person's away, and that can be all year round, because some people don't even take holidays in the summer. They take it in the wintertime because they're
mm,
like, well, I can just go to a local beach or whatever. And some people want to get away from the minus 40 and go to sunny places and then come back.
yeah.
And I don't know, the shock to the system. But
Well, and
yeah,
that's something I like you mentioned that is, and I really admire, for example, my son does that. He doesn't have little kids and so he'll say, like, I can pick up the shifts on those days that are typically family days or holidays. So
right.
he'll
Yeah.
often work through the Christmas holidays, or even in the summer there'll be long weekends, and he'll take the call on those
Mhm.
weekends so that the family guys can know that it's covered.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's
And that's
cool. But we
amazing to
can
do.
we can be creative that way and
Yeah.
notice those opportunities.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love
Even leaving
when people
early, like,
can.
okay,
Yeah.
hey, is there something I could I could pick up that meeting and go in your place, or I could uh, deliver something, that needs to be done. And if you want to knock off early and go take, I know your kids have whatever,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, it's true,
just
because even
hey, listen,
even
like
if kids are
communicate.
in camp, even kids are in camp during summer, you still have to go pick them up. There's usually
Yeah,
aftercare, daycare thingies, like, after for another hour sometimes in some places, but there's the pickup. So sometimes if you're at a 9 to 5, let's say the camp's done at 4, then you need to dip out early and get there before like 5 or whatever. So that still helps people out greatly, and because it's just a
yeah,
less of a stressor. And then the person who's having to leave early to go can say, okay, well, I'll pick up that extra shift for you, so you can take, Boxing Day off or whatever it may be. So,
yeah.
look at that and go, okay, what's a great way to shift around so that, someone can enjoy their summer a little bit more and not have that extra stress, even though they do have to work, right? So those are, great trade-offs, I think, personally. So look into those things if you can do
Switching
that,
gears.
right?
Yeah, I
Shifting
agree.
gears.
Switching
Yeah,
gears.
let's do it.
Something else that comes up in the summer is shedding layers. And
Yes.
that, like, especially I think, like, it affects men as well, but especially I think women.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
Um, you know, they really struggle with their like body image, their self-confidence, and
Yes.
just like it is a thing, and
Hmm.
they struggle. And I've I know I went shopping with a friend one time, and this really stuck with me. And she didn't want this one dress that looked amazing on her because she didn't like her arms being bare. And it was like a tank top, and her arms were bare. And I was just like, wow, I hadn't realized how restrictive it can really be for people to enjoy relaxing or going to a beach and just wearing the bikini or the bathing, whatever style bathing suit that you want to wear. They're like,
Yeah.
well, no, I'm like over 40 now. I shouldn't wear a bikini or like whatever it might be. And
Hmm.
can we shift how we think about um, ourselves? Because I think
Yeah.
we're very cruel. I wouldn't say to a friend, "Are you sure you want to wear that?" Unless I really, have been asked. Like they're like, "What do you think?" And I'd
Yeah.
be like, "Honestly, I think if you had, a little like, let's try this style versus that style, or
Yeah.
this, this looks so much more flattering on you. Like, let's be kind and be honest,
Yeah.
but let's start like in the mirror first because
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
say
Oh,
stuff to
100%.
ourselves we wouldn't say to a friend."
Hmm. Yeah, it's so true. Just look at it and go, okay, we want to have fun, right? We don't want to be on a beach per se and going, oh, like, I don't, the self-confidence of, some people will just throw a t-shirt over top or whatever. And, but I like to sometimes if even if I'm paddle boarding and you're not bearing all, but I'll ask like the person I'm going with, like, what are you gonna wear? And then kind of match it up. Oh, if they're gonna wear like shorts and a t-shirt, oh, okay, cool, let's do that. Or oh, I'm gonna wear shorts on a bikini top. Okay, cool. Like, so I'm not an overly bare person. Like I just, sometimes I'll do it, but I'm not like overly like I won't wear like the string bikini with the thong or whatever like that. Like number one, Calgary doesn't have that kind of heat. So there's that. But I'm not used to it for one. So it also depends where you live, right? If you're Brazil, go hard, But yeah, again, but if you're both having some fun and you're friends and you just want to like go for it, I always just say to the other person, what do you want to wear? And let's do it. And then that way, if I bring it up, then the other person knows that like they're going to say what they're comfortable in. So then I can go, okay, cool. Like, let's just wear that and just, and I just shrug it off. Cause sometimes if I'm wearing a little less and the other person isn't, maybe I'm making them uncomfortable too. Right. So it's kind of a back and forth of like, will they be comfortable? And some people have no issues with anything. Like they don't even care. Right. They're just whatever. So look at have that conversation, or maybe, if you kind of know who they are already and they're not comfortable with a lot of skin, respect that while you're with them and then do your own thing on your own time too, right? So, but by all means, if that person's been struggling with weight or they do have that body image and you can see that, make them feel comfortable and change their day into having something fun instead of like, don't be like showing them other people's bodies and, like stay stay away from the topic and just think, okay, like go into activities. Or what do you want to try? Would you want to do this or do that or whatever? And just keep the conversation flowing and then keep the activities going so that it's kind of away from that they're uncomfortable. You can see it, get away from that, right? And then just go and have fun. That's what it's about. So if the other person though is self-conscious, they do want to lose weight or whatever, um, have that conversation with them or be supportive on their journey as well. Like, don't, you know, that's all I think, right? Is just be supportive on their journey and say, hey, well, you'll get there and maybe not this summer. Like, let's aim for next summer. We'll have hot bodies and we'll both go to the gym and work on it, right? Like, have fun with it. Like, you don't have to be all weird about it and whatever, but we can go right back to teenagers too. because sometimes the teenagers are in that awkward body stage and they don't quite look like their friends. They may look a little bit different, but go, hey, like if the friends like you for who you are, not your body, then that's the important thing is, how are the friends treating them? Are they just, they don't want to hang out with them on the beach because they don't have a hot body? Then those are not the friends for you either. So when you're a parent going into that, difficult topic stage of the body weight, the body image, whatever, get your child to have some more confidence on themselves and be, supportive around them, right? Because that's what it's about. Is you're on a family holiday, have fun and you know, be supportive and say, hey, like if they don't want to be around you, who cares? We love you. We want to be around you. And that's what totally matters. Because I think everyone goes through like the awkward body stage. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't care who you are, you're going to go through it, like something, right? Whether it's even, it could even not just be weight, it could be like the braces thing or whatever, right? There's always something. And it's like, be supportive through that stage because it's like, it's going to hit hard sometimes.
Well,
So,
and I don't think we ever really outgrow that, uh,
I don't
that
think
sense
so.
of, wanting to be included,
Yes.
wanting to
Yeah.
fit in, wanting to feel confident in our body. And
Yeah.
if we acknowledge that, and it's a thing we can talk about with our whoever the teens are, whether they're nieces, nephews, grandkids, like whatever those, uh, and they don't even have to be technically teen. It starts earlier now.
Yeah. Oh,
Even
yeah.
8, 9, 10 year olds are
Hmm.
struggling with some of these issues. But be human about it with them. Like
Yeah.
first be curious and say, hey, um, maybe ask them, hey, what do you think about my new bikini or whatever it is,
Right.
right? Just say, I like be honest. Say I don't always like, how I look at certain things, but this is how I deal with it, or this is how I
Yeah.
um, feel more confident, or I'll
Yeah.
talk to my friends about it. But if you talk to the kids and say, "Hey, I deal with these things too," it's
Yes.
okay to
Hmm.
question it or to ask for people's help around this. And this is something that just is part of being a human. And please, when you look in the mirror, look for something to compliment yourself about. Don't
Yes.
just say
Yeah.
something mean. And we
Hmm.
can be modeling that, and even maybe even say, hey, let's go look in the mirror together. Okay, I'm gonna compliment something about you, and then I'm gonna compliment something about myself, and then you do
Yeah.
the same. You find something that you see as we're looking in the mirror and say, hey, that really, that color looks great, or I
Yeah.
love how your hair is today, or something. And
I
then
love
do it
your
for
ankles.
yourself too,
Yeah,
and just
exactly.
say, like, yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And then the most important thing too is to remember everyone is different, but we're all so unique and we're made that way. And imagine if we were all the same. Like how boring would that be? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's what makes you you. So enjoy being you because no one else is you. So, even if your body type is similar to somebody else, I mean, that's still not going to matter. Like your hair color might be different, or, the other person is just, they're not as confident as you, whatever. But you can look at those things too and go, hey, like, it's so cool how different. And especially if you're a parent with children and they have that body image, go, we love you for you. That's what is the most beautiful thing about your body is that you're so unique and you're so different and it's going to change as you grow, so it's never going to be the same. We're always consistently changing even as adults, even though we kind of get to the same height, but we're always changing, right? Like we could be heavier, we could be slimmer, women especially, because if you've had children,
Yep.
even if you didn't have children, your hormones are going to be up and down and playing, and you're going to be bloated and this and that. So you don't, you can't even talk. You can't say a word because you're always changing, right? So be kind
Yeah,
with each
and it's
other
we're
and,
and we should embrace that as a blessing instead of a curse.
oh,
Like, you
especially if
get to
we're living
change.
longer and
You
yeah,
get to,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's not I have
absolutely.
to, or this is going to happen whether I like it or not. It's kind of
Yeah.
it's that's a perspective shift, is I get to
Yes.
do this or that. And
Yeah.
that can be whether I get to pick the kids up at camp, I get to do
Yeah.
um, whatever it
Something
might be.
different over the
So I
summer. Yeah.
had recently a guest on my show that is talking about uh, a program that he has set up, more than a program, it's a charity or a nonprofit.
Nice.
And it's all around a friend that he lost. And
Oh,
they were young adults, and his friend was a father as well. Like he was a parent and a husband, and he got cancer. And the one day he stopped to visit his friend, and he said, "Oh, this day, like the traffic and at the office there was this and that." And his friend just went, "You know what I would give to
mm,
be able to have driven somewhere today, or to go to work, or to spend time picking my kid up from school, whatever that is."
yeah.
And he just thought, wow, you know, that change in perspective. I get to go drive through traffic. I get like dealing with rush hour. I get to go to the office. I get to pick up my
Yeah.
kid at school. I get to do these things. And
Yeah.
that perspective change can really help us appreciate what we have, that I mean, really, in many ways, we've chosen to have
Mhm.
this in our life. Now it makes us tired and exhausted, and
Yeah.
we resentful, or, angry, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And just to pause and think, wow, like there's people that wish they could do this.
Yeah.
And even for those, like we were talking about weight,
Yeah.
I know people who have struggled to gain weight,
Yes. Yeah. I was
and
just gonna say that.
they
I've seen people at the gym super duper tiny and skinny, and I'm just but you can see um they're trying so hard. They're like, I can eat like 3,000 calories a day and it's just nothing is coming on. And they feel awkward being so tiny and so skinny. And they're just like, they just need to put that weight on, like just to feel healthy and want to look healthy. And because some people, when you're too skinny, some people will look at you, right? It's the opposite too, right? Like either too big or too slim, and it's like there's something wrong with you. But it's like, no, like that's just the way they're built. Like it's could be a metabolism, it could just be hereditary, whatever, right? We don't know. But yeah,
I'm
I've
still
seen that.
trying
Yes.
to, like, I love summer so much, and winter I really struggle with. And
Yeah.
there's still days I think I get to shovel snow.
You're like,
I,
I get
I,
to
I get to
start my
shovel
car up
snow.
and take all that snow off and
I guess in the
but
summer it's
it's true.
I get to weed my garden.
I get to get a I get to have a heat stroke. I get to have sunburn. I get to go to the beach. Oh darn. But yeah,
We
I get to hang out with friends. I get to, have a day off from work. I get the long weekend. I get, all that. Some people don't get those. Some people are in difficult situations that they have to work overtime. They don't have the finances to be able to go and take time off, right? They're go, 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 or they live in an area, or they could even be homeless and they don't have that situation. They're not as lucky. So think of all the good things that we get to do during winter and or summer, right? Like
Summer
you said.
for sure.
Yeah. We
So what
get
are
to
some of your summer plans? Let's dig into that.
summertime. I get to. I get to use my Callaway Park Pass eventually. I haven't been yet, but it just opened up they did kind of weekends, and then they had some schools going in and having their days with the school stuff.
Okay.
So that just ended last week. So now it's like the full time, you can go all day for the season until September. So I get to go do that. Yesterday, I got to go to the movies. I went and saw F1. Totally awesome. Awesome,
We're
awesome.
going this
So,
week.
oh my goodness, you will love it. You will love
I will.
it. You will love, love, love it. So I'm going to do more movies during the summer. I didn't because I've been so busy with shows and everything, like it's just been crazy. So I'm going to what I just love is I get to take my fun stuff and scatter it throughout and do the things. And I'm going to be doing some more staycation kind of touristy things as well. I'm going to actually be going to Stampede this year with a friend who invited me. So we're going to do that on a Sunday and take the day because, Stampede is kind of one of those things where, okay, yeah, maybe I'll go, but it's not top priority for me. Cowboy Park is more priority because it's not as busy and it's not as crazy and it's not, you know, as crowded. I think the crowd, when there's just so many people, you don't get to enjoy the scenery of things. You're more worried about stepping on someone or the lineups or whatever. It gets a little more crazy and hectic. So for me, the difference between the two is, you can sit back and just people watch at Cowboy Park and just take it in. Yeah, the rides are different, this, that, but whatever, and food's a little different, but in the end, it's very similar. So I get to do that. I get to do my movies, and I get some extra. I got to work a wedding on the weekend and do help out with some cleaning up with that and helping with the caterers and whatnot. And that was fun. So there's different little projects that I get to do over the summertime that I wouldn't normally do during the winter. So I love that stuff and just different environments, have fun. I've got another day trip planned. Hopefully it's still in the works, but that'll be for the end of July. So that'll be fun. I'll talk about that when we do that. So it has something to do with dogs. So it'll be
Ooh.
fun. We'll touch upon that. So I may be helping with a little project. So fun, fun. So that's the fun things about summer. What about you, Dina? What are your get tos this summer?
Well, we went to rodeo and chuck wagon races yesterday. We're going to go to at least one ball game
Nice.
and to movie, spending time even just in the yard playing. We've got like a badminton net, volleyball net set up. Um, go, you know, going and cheering on at lacrosse games and just, I think, enjoying being able to spend more than 5 minutes outside without freezing your face off is
It's
always
great.
fantastic. I love going for walks, go explore some different hiking trails.
Ooh, yeah,
Just
hiking.
yeah, and maybe go to a lake for a day and sit on the beach and you know, like just
Yeah.
kind of um, open to those whims. And I
Yes.
love even like we'll just sit out on the deck and play cards, and we've been doing that. And it's just to be
Smart.
out in nature and be outside is, I think, one of the biggest things I love. And then I'm gardening, and we enjoy eating what we grow or seeing the pretty flowers and whatever. So that is really fun. I also have a road trip, at least one road trip coming up, and I think it would be super fun to just do a girls' day at Callaway. I think that would
Yes.
be like just gather some people up. So it's something that we did really fun. Carrie and myself, Anna, who's been on the show, and then another friend as well, plus some of the husbands were able to join us.
Yeah.
And for my birthday, we went to Speeders. So speaking of
Peter.
F1, I mean, we talk about how that's on my vision is to drive fast cars on fun tracks. And anyway, so we went to Speeders, and that was my what I wanted to do for my birthday party. So we had a blast. It
We had a
was
blast.
so fun,
It was
just
fun.
cruising
And
around and
yeah.
crashing and spinning out.
And Carrie and her trauma because of her car accident, it was,
Yeah, it was
you know,
therapy for
by the
Carrie.
end of it, the first, oh my goodness, the first lap was, I was like, okay, relax, breathe, like have fun. No one's here to hurt you. Like it's, they crash and it's okay because they have like the plastic borders around. So,
Bumper
and
pads or whatever, yeah.
whatever you want to call them, they're so great. And they've got wonderful staff there that, my goodness, they are just right there taking care of you, making sure you're set up. So it was very good. I have to thank you for inviting me because it got me out of my comfort zone a little bit. And then because I do like racing. I love fast cars. I love all the car stuff too, and all the fast movie, like you name it. I've seen them all, whatever. And I've been to car shows and I love it. Like it's just in my blood. I don't know what it is, but it's exciting and fun. So I wanted to go and just put, because I kind of knew something may trigger me. So when people did get a little close, I did have that reaction of wanting to
Yeah,
move and go, oh, like, no, to like to stay away. But I got over that and I was like, okay, this is fun. And near the end, I was going faster and faster. And I was like, okay, I got the hang of things. And then I was like right in there. I'm like, okay, let's go. So now it's like the next time I'm like, it's on. Like it's on. So it was fun. It was a very good shift
yeah.
for me, for sure.
Well, and
Yeah.
one of my daughters sent me a screenshot. Yeah, that's good. Sorry, we're freezing a little bit, so I was talking over top of you.
Oh yeah, your
One of
daughter
my
sent
daughters
you a
sent me a
screenshot.
screenshot
Yeah.
too. There's an outdoor track in Calgary for
Yeah.
go-karts too.
Yeah. Oh, she's gone. Let's see if she'll pop back here. Could be because she's outside. See, this is the summer shift we don't talk about. Is being outside and streaming. We'll see if she can pop back in. Oh, no, she's gone. Well, we'll see if she pops back. There is a summer track that's outside and it's Shakers. I don't know if it's still there, but we'll have to see if it is or not. But yeah. So with that, I don't know if Dina's going to come back in or not. I'll give her just a second and see. But tell us and let us know what other fun things you guys are going to be doing this summer. Like, what is a summer shift that you don't normally do? During the winter time or during the fall time? What is something in the summer that you're going to shift to and do and have fun with? So let us know, comment on that. We'll bring it up on our next show, which will be in a couple weeks. So I guess with that, Dina is not coming back. So we'll just end the show, but thank you guys for tuning in with Our Shift Happens. Again, have fun this summer. We'll see you guys soon on our next show. Bye.